Hey, what's up, guys? It's John with Ghastly Cards. I want to start out by saying thank you to everybody who stopped out to the YouTube, has subscribed to our channel, watching our videos, engaging with us. Everybody who's been over on the Instagram, a lot of new followers come in. So if you're new to the show, really appreciate you stopping out. We got a really fun one for today. If you've been following along, we just recently got a really large submission back from PSA. One of the cards in that collection that we got back was a Shining Gyarados. I bought this Shining Gyarados in a 2-card purchase off of Facebook Marketplace. Actually, if you've heard before, Metagross Gold Star, great card. Sent that one in, got a PSA 9 on it. Sent the Shining Gyarados in and got a PSA 1. Probably the cleanest PSA 1 that I've ever personally seen. I spent a lot of time on Reddit through the subreddits for Pokemon investing, Pokemon grading, Pokemon collections. Love to hear people's opinions, so I had posted up the Shining Gyarados, the PSA 1. You guys tell me what you think. Leave a comment below. This post went absolutely off on Reddit, and I'm going to go through some of the comments today because it was pretty hysterical. At the end of the day, the card's really cool because it is a PSA 1, and there is a collector's market for that. I honestly think that this was a PSA 10 if there wasn't one little indent on the card. Not sure what PSA was thinking. Maybe they saw something that I didn't see, but considering the inconsistencies with vintage grading, who knows? Maybe the grader was upset that day. Maybe the indent's further through the card than what I can see with the naked eye. You can be the judge. I'm going to show the card on the screen, and then I'm going to actually go through some of the comments on Reddit because I think you guys get a kick out of it as well. After watching the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stop out to our Instagram, Ghastly Cards, and let's get this show on the road. So here's the culprit, the Shining Gyarados. As you can see on video, super clean. There's your indent. Be completely honest, completely transparent. Knew there was an indent in the card prior to sending. I was expecting a 6. The indent does not go through the card, so I'm pretty surprised to see that we ended up with a 1 here. Centering looks great. Edges look great. We look at the back of the card. We look, see if the indent goes through. No indent through. You can see it on the back side, but we're not talking about a tack mark here. So not really sure how we ended up with a 1. Overall, corners look good. No whitening. Perfect centering. Great looking card. So let's actually pull up the Reddit, what the Reddit community thinks. It's pretty funny to hear what people are thinking when they are thinking about grading their cards and or just PSA as a whole right now with the collector's hobby. So here we go. This is my personal Reddit. I posted this to Poke Investing. Jokingly said, did they mean a 10? And as explained before, obviously the picture doesn't really show the details of the indent. You can see it in the video, but here it is on the actual card in the picture as well. Going through, asked the community, anyone interested in the cleanest one they've ever seen. At first I was joking, but there was some substantial offers that came through. There's one individual out there still waiting on me to get back to him that I think I'm going to take his offer for not only the Shining Gyarados, but then also additionally the counterpart here, Shining Magikarp. This was another card that I sent off to get graded early on, a few months back now. Ended up with a PSA 8. Also a really nice looking card. Kind of shocked that it ended up being an 8. Once again, I'm not seeing anything visible to my eye, but I'm not the professional here. I'm not the one who calls the shots. So this is a really, really strong 8. It will make a good set when I do send it off to its new home. So let's get back to Reddit. I was asking the community any ideas on why this would get a 1. 145,000 total views with 514 total shares. Man, if only you guys engaged on YouTube like they did on Reddit, we would be blowing up right now. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. We're gonna go through each one of the comments. Not every single one, but the ones that I like the most. So Hail Fanatic says, posts like this have completely deterred me from grading my vintage cards. So inconsistent. What do you guys think? With PSA right now, when you send a vintage graded card in and you know, as the consumer, the person sending the card in, obviously we're always going to be biased. We're going to think that our cards are going to grade much higher than what they normally come back as. But we've seen a lot of inconsistencies in the market. There's actually most recently on Reddit as well a Shining Raichu. Same situation as my Gyarados, where For some reason, the card came back a 1. Really no explanation. Card was really clean, no visible indents. Some people think water damage. Others think there's something that we're not seeing with the naked eye. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. A lot of people are saying that it's consistently inconsistent. Don't tell the grading sub that. They'll miraculously defend anything coming out of PSA. This guy super defends PSA, talking about their 1% error rate. I don't know. Like, okay, I get it. It's human error. There's going to be errors in the grading process, but also maybe it's time to start looking at other options outside of humans. Maybe AI grading is the future. Some people don't like that, but the reality of it is that at least we can guarantee consistency, and it's not just population control. It's not folks having a bad day. It's not underpaid workers just handing out grades for the heck of handing out grades. Some of it is skeptical. I don't know. I'm not in PSA. I don't know how they treat their employees. I've had a lot of experience with their customer service. I'm not really pleased with how they've responded to me. I actually sent an email in regards to this PSA 1, and basically they told me tough luck. The grades are the grades, and we're not going to validate and or explain why we gave the 1. There is a resubmission process. I don't want to go through the hassle. I think it's a cool card as it is, and like I said, I have a really compelling offer that I more than likely will take. Man, with all these flawless PSA 1 from Bon Bon Snow, PSA 1 popping around these days, I really don't know what to think anymore. I've been pissed off about PSA lots of times, but this kind of grades are really going to damage all of us collectors, investors. So that's an interesting take, right? You have really clean cards, you send them off to PSA in the hopes of not only preserving those, but maybe you're looking at this from an investment perspective. There is a downside when you have an anticipation of a particular grade, particular value that you want to get out of the card, and then, like I said, something happens at PSA's facility that there's no rhyme or reason as to why you received the grade. That's concerning, that they don't actually provide any sort of feedback as to why you received a particular grade. I mean, at the very least, maybe they could put that into their quality control. The reason you received XYZ grade is because this is how we rated your card, and this is how it stacked up against similar cards that we've seen come through the grading system. That honestly might be worth more than a 6 with how clean it is. The Boopster box, I believe any type of dent at all is an auto 6 at best. Learned this the hard way after my buddy's massive bulk submission had an insanely clean modern full art come back a 6. And some guy at a convention later helped us find the near invisible dent along the edge. So like I said, this card does have a dent. I mean, you can see it right here. But at the end of the day, PSA 1, everything else is perfect, flawless on the card. That dent does not go through. It wasn't a tack. And like I said, the Metagross Gold Star came out of the same collection, came back as a PSA 9. So not really sure what happened that day. Maybe it does, but I've shined light through. It doesn't go through. I've looked the card over 100 times by now. Not really sure where it came from. 192 upvotes. I know people love to shit on AI grading, but I really do think it's going to be the standard in the future to prevent this crap. Just spoke about it a little bit. It's going to help with quality control. It's going to make sure things are consistent. It'd be interesting to see how the values would change, considering, you know, a lot of the grades that have come out of PSA. You see 10s that have flaws in them. You see 1s that look like they should be minimally 6s. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen if AI gets introduced? At the end of the day, those models are trained on human experience. So maybe we would just build a automated machine that still takes in the bias of a human. I don't know. I'd like to hear from you guys what you think, if those models would be skewed because of the human bias, and or if they could set parameters in terms of what they're looking for, and we could get accurate grades that would overall, I think, would affect the market, whether it's from a positive and or a negative standpoint. These guys are talking about LLM as well as machine learning and data modeling to come up with the precise machine for AI grading. I've heard some things too that PSA has used AI grading in the past. I don't know if they do or not. It'd be interesting to get a little bit more look on their business, but it is also their competitive advantage, the way that they do things, the way that they've set the standard in the market. You know, you got to get your grade. You got to get your cards graded from PSA. There's some cards that do better in BGS. We know the issues with CGC. They've been coming up in the market. Some people like it from a business perspective because of their turnaround times, the price to grade. But PSA is always going to hold the best value for the majority of the cards, and they just dominate the market. So maybe another player will come up with AI grading, but I highly doubt it. I think that it would come down to PSA implementing some new practices to make sure that grades are coming out a little bit more consistent. Splitting bullets. Here I am wondering if OP drew a dong on it with invisible ink that's only viewable under ultraviolet. I had to comment back and said, buy it. You can see for yourself. No, didn't draw anything on the card. I'm not trolling anybody. The card is what it is, and the only flaw in the card is the dent, like I said. We got some folks saying, Comshep 1989, I had a similar issue. Card came back a 5 when I expected a 9. Well, hey, that's the name of the game though too. I send cards out, I expect a high grade, they come back a low grade. You guys might have saw the PSA card submission reveal, had a Dark Typhlosion that I sent off, really nice card. I can't see any visible flaws. I thought very easily an 8 or a 9. Came back a 5. It's just what happens when you send cards. And Succulent, agree, expecting a rough 6. 1 is absurd. I've seen a few BS ones over the last few months. This guy's saying PSA 1 over PSA 10, such explanation. Like I said, saw this with I believe it was a Shining Raichu. Someone else here was complaining about a similar issue. Seems like it was water damage. In my mind, that's what happened here. I don't know. I just I don't see any inkling as to where there could potentially be water damage. The card doesn't have any ripples in it. Doesn't look like it's warped and or dried weird. I asked the guy to help me assess water damage because it's not warped. There's no indication of the water damage at all. This legitimate tell 6694, if you dunk the card in water and it doesn't soak up water easily, then it was previously water damage. Ah, yes, the old buoyancy test, and or what I don't even know what this guy's name. The saturation test. Touche. Comfortable Rich 285, looking at these cases and people commenting that the reason for this card to get a 1 is due to the stuff you can only see with black light is crazy. I think it's pretty crazy too. I mean, if you want to find a defect, just like Comfortable Rich is saying here, you can find a defect on any card. There's lots of 10s out there with dings, maybe a little scratch, things that went under the radar that if you really looked for it, you're probably going to pick it up. This guy says, if this is a 1, then all my collection of GLP vintage cards is a -10. Okay, Rise the Wake. To be fair, a PSA 1 is much more rare than a PSA 10. That is correct with the population report of the Shining Gyarados, but the value is not the same. I had to jokingly reply, if you want to give me the PSA 10 value for it, you can have it, right? Back of the card doesn't look like a 10. Look at the corners, edges. I mean, I knew that there was an indent in it, but the corners and edges are extremely clean. I mean, here, let me pull the screen down real quick. We can take another look at it. Corners and edges. Where's the damage? I'm not seeing it. Sometimes they grade fake cards as 1s. Bugs 5567. This is definitely not fake. Came from the same lot that the Metagross did. Felt confident that all the cards that the owner had were all legitimate cards. He had some other ones that I probably should have picked up, and honestly at the time I didn't want to spend that much money. But let's see. We got Pretty User. He's saying unlimited PSA 1, $75. Absolutely not, dude. Audit PSA, mic drop. Grading is a scam, consistently inconsistent, subjective nonsense. This guy says super sick card to have in a 1. I'd be happy with it. No cracking, regrading for me. Plus, to the right collector, a PSA 1 in this condition could be someone's grail card. Have a great day, OP. From PSA themselves, poor 1 will exhibit many of the same qualities of a PSA fair 1.5, but the defects may have advanced to such a serious stage that the eye appeal of the card has nearly vanished in its entirety. So let's pull an actual PSA 1 card up here. You can see the difference. PSA 1 is usually a highly damaged card. versus this PSA 1 that is, it's in great shape. It's a great card. What's going on at PSA? They need some retraining and potentially fire some bad apples. Don't want anybody to lose their job, but maybe some retraining, maybe some better quality control would go a long way. Here's PSA's response. I can read it back to you. I posted it up on the subreddit as well for all to see. I'd post the picture, didn't have an Imager account to do so. Thank you for reaching out to PSA customer care. My name is Destiny and I'll be happy to help you with this inquiry. We understand the desire to know the why behind a grade. Comparing your card to a picture online can be an instinctive response. But there are a lot of things that you simply can't see via images. Keep in mind that grading is three-dimensional, meaning that images flatten defects. There are many types of defects that in order to see them, you must be able to move, tilt, and rotate the cards. Okay, PSA, do you think I'm not rotating, looking at the cards, determining if I should send them in or not? It's not cheap to grade cards. I'm not going to send anything that I honestly don't think is an 8. This one I knew was minimum or was going to be maximum of 6 because of the indent, but I was not expecting a 1. Along with moving the cards to view them at multiple angles, lighting also plays a huge part in being able to see tiny defects. When reviewing your card, try putting your card in a low single light setting in a dark room, since bright lights can often blow out imperfections. You're welcome to review our grading standards here, but please keep in mind that in the end, the final grade is at the discretion of our experts. While providing a detailed report regarding the result is not part of our services, please be assured that your cards are always seen by a minimum of 2 independent graders and that their results must match before the order can be completed. We hope that this information is helpful, and you should have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for choosing PSA. Sincerely, if you have any other questions, please let us know, and thank you for reaching out to PSA. Sincerely. Hopefully you guys found this fun. I know it's a little bit different from the content that we normally do. We're gonna do some more pack openings, do some more 151 openings. I'm gonna actually be picking up the 2 new Japanese sets that are coming out. I just want to say thank you to everybody for stopping out, liking, subscribing, just engaging with us. It's a lot of fun. We're building a little community here. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. Appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great night.